Warning, this game contains bloody, violent and explicit content. Consider yourself advised. While instead, for those sick bastards, I want to see how a student, can turn into a violent serial killer. Then you're more than welcome to join our ride. Hello there everyone, I'm Clown Nebula, welcome to a new indie game, Sickness. This is a demo for a visual novel game about murder, one of the most heinous crimes a person can commit. The act of taking another human being's life, the act of robbing a person of their already limited time on this planet. It is a fear-inducing crime which anybody can commit. Every housewife, every student, every police officer is a potential killer. Then the rest no businessman, no psycho-scientist, only housewives, students and police officers can be serial killers. Sorry for the others, you have been rejected of serial killer MasterChef reality show. I'm sorry, you have to take back your knife. It's a crime that doesn't discriminate by blood or circumstance. It is a crime which can be committed by and make victims of just about anyone. Everybody remains both a potential killer and victim, blissfully ignorant of the fact that they could be next, assuring themselves that it could never happen to them. Of course, but in the choice, everyone would choose to be the potential killer, I believe, instead of the victim. Okay, somebody's taking a nap. And so, as a result of that navette, those very people never see it coming. Well, I guess you can reasonably think that you won't be killed by a serial killer. I mean, there are pretty thin chances that you will be. Though the scene before me may seem horrific, in this case, as with so many others, there was no great story behind it. Oh, poor guy, I mean, he had a story. He had been killed, come on. There was no build-up, no resentment between the victim and myself. No mutual hatred that gave us reason to fight. Oh, okay, so it's all about the money. We didn't spend years at each other's throats. We had never fought before, and neither one of us saw this coming. In reality, this is the result of a simple, common scenario, once we all heard before. Penny-pinching employer, a bankrupt employee, and a denied paycheck. Huh, I see. Truly, there was nothing special about this encounter. My boss didn't taunt me or attempt to exacerbate the situation. He didn't fire me, insult me, or do anything to tempt fate. Also, he's my boss, but he didn't pay me, so that's why I killed him. Well, in these days it's happening sometimes, so it's kind of very, it's very scary for these managers and bosses, I believe. If anything, I'm the one who made things worse. Well, not that they have, nor that the employees don't have reasons to kill their former managers, but there are other ways to solve the problem, I believe. I'm the one who made things worse. Rather than try to reason with him, I lashed out, beating the pompous man in front of me to a bloody pulp. Okay. I knew it wouldn't accomplish anything. I knew attacking him would get me the money I needed, and yet I did it. Needed to punish him? That's right, okay. So self-justice is always a bad thing. As self-righteous as it sounds, I couldn't let him get away with what he did. The money that greedy bastard owed me, a pittance to him, was everything to me. It would have fed my sister and I, secured our lease for another month, perhaps even granted us a brief respite from the hell we're currently living. It was a shining beacon in our otherwise miserable lives, a way to ensure our survival during such a trying, stressful time. Okay, so yeah, you killed to survive, I believe. No justification in that, but it's more comprehensible in a way. Because of that narcissist's whim, all hope I had of repairing my broken life vanished. He would deny me shelter, food, comfort. And for what? New seats for his car? A fancy watch? A new TV? Yup. I believe he wanted your money because of these things. And so, staring these injustices in the face, hearing firsthand how little my life meant to him, I snapped. Okay, remind me when I meet you not to do anything wrong to you. Maybe just turn you to the police. Of course, as fitting as it may seem to reciprocate his indifference to my life by taking his, doing so was never my intention. But you did it anyway, so it kinda was your intention, pal. True, I wanted to kill him. That's right. I wanted to make him suffer for belittling my life, for denying me even a moment of peace. But I realized then, as I can clearly see now, that lashing out wouldn't solve anything. So why did I do it? Why would I resort to this? Why would I deliberately choose this no-win situation? If I were to commit a criminal act, why resort to violence rather than theft? If this were truly about my wages, why seek revenge rather than alternative means of compensation? Unfortunately, there's only one answer I can give in which I am confident. You're losing your mind! Congratulations! Confetti forever and champagne! It isn't the first explanation that came to my mind, but it does make sense. Well, kinda. A few hours ago I would have laughed at the cliché of a criminal blaming the voices in their head. Even more so at the notion that a person would act on the silent words of an unseen entity. Well, this is only your subconscious, and it's not another entity, I believe. However, as evidenced by the corpse at my feet, those words aren't so easy to ignore. As I attempted to survive in this two-class society, willfully believing that I was somehow immune to the corruption and classism plaguing this town, there was always a voice whispering to me, telling me not to believe the good fortune around me. Okay, maybe. Probably that would have been better if you go for the corruption part, I believe, instead of murder. I was filled with skepticism and doubt, preempting the inevitable, telling me to take action before it was too late. But you didn't listen. That was my first mistake. I ignored the benevolent advice offered to me, the predictions now shown to be accurate, the good faith I received from someone asking for nothing in return. When he told me to stay in school and live with a guardian, when he told me to seek work elsewhere, when he told me to look for a home somewhere safer, I didn't listen, because I chose my path as a murderer. Every step of the way, I fought against the sound, logical advice it offered. If anything, I made a point of doing the opposite of what the voice told me to do. Or at least, until you heard what you wanted to hear. That's right, and that's what serial killers do. They always accept only the voices they please them, that they can assure them their satisfactions. And that was my second mistake. It wasn't that I refused to heed the voice's advice. I simply wasn't interested in taking the safe, responsible route. Easy money, not so easy, yet so bloody money. So by the time that violence had become the advised course of action, my path had already been determined. He had descended through the deep, thick path, the downstairs of madness and murder. Monday evening, September the 5th. Less than half an hour ago, in this very room, I committed a serious crime. A very violent crime. The kind of crime for which people go to prison without any hope of ever leaving. I lost control of myself, attacked my boss, and without a doubt ended my short time working in this place. I acted on impulse, and as I stared into the face an injustice that threatened to take away my home, allowing myself to do the only thing I could to avoid feeling powerless. But as the adrenaline wore off and the tension cooled, I soon realized my mistake. I saw clearly the fresh corpse at my feet, the stained carpet beneath it, and the bloody hands responsible for everything before me. And so I stared at my own handiwork, accepted the gravity of the situation before me, and took immediate steps towards regaining control once more. Marcus? Oh, hi, who are you? I shall save here. Okay. You know, when you called me here, I figured you needed my help with something not strictly legal, but this? Oh, okay, so you're perfectly fine watching a man smashed to the head. So, my friend, you have outdone yourself. You really do have a bright future ahead, you. Unfortunately, given my dire situation, my options were quite limited. Okay, yeah. Staring an imminent prison sentence in the face, I called upon Marcus, a co-worker of mine. Okay, who apparently shared my same opinions, our boss. Contrary to his crappy dye job and lean figure, Marcus is a man of many trades, several of which aren't entirely legal. Since the moment I began working here, Marcus has been open about his criminal dealings, more than once hinting that he could help me, or vice versa. Oh, I can imagine you two, like, watching at a movie together with a box full of chocolate and watch. Oh, one day I killed a man, and I cut his arm off, and then he bled to death. Oh my God, tell me another story, please. Like two good old friends. Okay, so, well then. And now that things have come to this, it's time for him to make good on that promise. Oi, oi, less talking, more lifting. I'm here to help you two out. Not take care of everything myself. Okay, how many people have I involved in this thing? I mean, also it's very dangerous because they can, like, they could sell me out to the police if I don't do something for them, I believe. Okay, now they're not so happy anymore. Who are you? The second Marcus saw our boss in his current state. He understood the situation. Another Marcus? How many chances there was another Marcus here? Without asking a single question, he promised to help me out of my predicament. Thereafter, calling a man who I had never met before. Oh no, okay, this is another one. And surely enough, upon seeing our boss' corpse, the stranger smiled to himself and grabbed Mr. Mudu's legs, dragging his body into the doorway before requesting assistance. Don't be like that. Surely a big strong man like you can lift that weedy piece of shit by yourself. And get this poor sap's blood all over me in the process. Either give me a hand or do this yourself. Marcus and his acquaintance carried my boss' corpse into the stranger's van, which was parked just outside of Mudu's office. Okay, I have criminal friends. Wow, we are doing such a very cooperative serial killer company here. Thanks to the proximity of my boss' office, nobody heard a scuffle over the machinery used within the warehouse, and Marcus' acquaintance was able to block visibility and access to the office with his vehicle. Even so, despite knowing how fortunate my circumstances were, I couldn't help but feel anxious. Whether these two successfully cover up Mudu's death or not, there's no way this can end well. All it would take is one witness or a slip of the tongue, and I could wind up in prison. You have two tongues at your service, you know, and tongues, in order to not tell things to police, they cost very, very much. And even if I do get away with this, what then? Will I be in debt to Marcus forever? Will he ask for something extreme in return for his silence? Indeed, no matter what scenario I envision, it doesn't bode well for me. Phew, that bastard's heavier than he looks. Tell me about it. I thought my corpse handling days were long over. His corpse handling days? Okay, so you were pretty expert with this. This guy sounds like the right person for the job, but just who is he? Anyway, I'll handle the disposal. You two clean up in here, alright? You're the boss, Andrei. Oh, Andrei. Just leave the rest to us. KGB? No. After all, that'll give us time to talk about repayment. And there it is. Indeed, with his fucking annoying smile. It's not unreasonable for Marcus to expect something in return. I called on him knowing full well that I need to repay the favor. Just like Mafia. Even so, just thinking about how you expect me to repay something like this. Oh, that's me. What do you have in mind exactly? Oh, nothing big, at least not for someone like you. Well, I've just gone to the bottom of the pit with the homicide, so I believe I can do anything else. But really, before we get into that, I got to tell ya. I picked you as a fighter from the moment we met. But to actually kill somebody? I seriously underestimated you. That's a compliment, I believe. Marcus make it sound like I planned on killing Mudu from the start. But I'm no killer. Even if I've been in my fair share of fights, I never tried to kill someone before. With that in mind, I have the perfect job for you. I'm sure he does. But given the events leading up to this moment, I have to ask, is it a legal job? Oh, you silly, come on. Ah, sure, why not? As long as you then don't get caught, of course. Yeah. Figures. Oh, cheer up, I'm just messing with you. I got a perfect job in mind for you. You'll be able to rake in money, feed that accretion of yours, and pay off your debt almost immediately. Become a serial killer. Interested? Hang on, you're offering me to pay me while I repay you? Of course. This is not going well. Considering the reason why we're here, I thought it would be better not to get between you and your money. Whatever the case, what kind of job are we talking about? Brought you here to get me out of trouble. There won't be any point if you just drag me in deeper. Ha, you really don't have any faith in me, do you? Well, so be it. Just keep in mind that you're worth more to me alive and well than in prison. That is a fair point. Not that you have a choice anyway. If you want all of this kept secret, then you're gonna do exactly as I say. And that's the part where I was expecting for. My house, Richmond, a town riddled with crime and corruption. Richmond is a vast town, a collection of smaller districts, each varying significantly in terms of wealth, ethnicity, and population density. Large enough to entrap millions of everyday citizens, yet dense enough to suffocate any who dare reside within. It's a complicated town, misunderstood even by those living within its walls. But beyond the size and scope of this town, there is one aspect which stands out above all others. Let's save. Yup. Alright. It's concentration of wealth. So there are many rich people. Are we in Vegas? Are we in Beverly Hills? This is a town wherein the wealthy flock together, creating their own small utopia. Utopia? They build up selective parts of the city, sculpted low to their liking, and generally get away with whatever their bank balance will allow. The end result has been the creation of a state-sized town, comprised of countless districts, varying from wealthy suburbs filled with hospitals and schools, to those lacking even phone lines. Okay, but put simply, this is a two-class society, heavily favoring the rich. And so I'm here to bring justice the only way we know, by killing the rich guys. You know, you should be, like, get some lessons from Robin Hood at least. As someone living in a wealthy suburb while working among the poor, I'm fairly familiar with both sides of this city. Thanks to those who cling to every cent, labor can be commissioned for next to nothing, making Richmond a surprisingly cheap place to live. Public transport is constant, resources are plentiful, infrastructure is abundant, and the town keeps growing. For those with the money to support themselves, this isn't a bad place to live. On the other hand, with so much competition for work, most residents have no choice but to accept whatever work they can, and to slave away for as little as necessary. Slave wages are standard practice, workplace safety laws don't apply, and it's every man for himself. For anyone without a white-collar job, this town is hell. I believe this is not very much different from many of the towns that scattered around the world. And with mere weeks left on our lease, it won't be long before my sister and I experience that hell for ourselves. Of course, looking back over our lives until this point, I can't really complain. Before our parents passed away, Sarah and I lived sheltered, easy lives, never worrying for a second about housework or finances. We lived good lives in a safe neighborhood, we attended an adequate school, ate healthily, and were never far away from medical help. So now, even with all of that being stripped away, we're still better off than most others in our situation. Or at least we would be. If not, we had to pay our debts, if that hadn't just single-handedly destroyed our new lives. Indeed, no matter what excuse I give, whether I blame my boss penny-pinching, the foreign anger I felt surging through my body, or merely my desperate need for cash, it doesn't change the fact that I killed a man. Even so, I don't feel guilty. I barely even regret the loss of the life. If anything, it was the most fun I had in months. Wow, you have a pretty impressive life. A single moment of pure bliss taking me away from the harsh reality of my new life. Rather, what's eating away at me now is the imminent aftermath. Thanks to my selfish act of revenge and self-indulgence, and I have to explain to my only family why, after a mere 2 weeks in this house, we'll be forced to move again. Without a stable source of income, we won't be able to live here much longer, and I refuse to allow my sister to be subjected to this discrimination and crime that makes this city so unlivable for the poor. With my only chance of recovery resting in the hands of a friend who essentially blackmailed me into meeting with him tonight, I have no illusion over how this will go. So if my choices are to give Sarah fair warning before our lease expires, or to place my faith in a criminal whom I have known for a mere 2 weeks, then it's time to decide. Well, can I even call that a choice? You always had a choice, pal. As soon as I enter my temporary home, I notice a pleasant scent coming from the kitchen. Following my nose, I trace the source of the scent back to the chef of the household, who immediately ran over to my side. My sister, who is exactly like me with only longer hair. Ah, welcome back. I thought it was about time for you to get home. I would be waiting all afternoon. The young girl waiting for me was Sarah, my twin sister. Ah, that's why. The only family I've left. Unlike me, Sarah is still in school, so she's been getting home a few hours earlier than I have lately, giving her ample time to take care of the household chores. Well, it's like a sort of wife in a way. Kind, gentle, dependable, smart. Sarah is the image of an ideal little sister, one without whom I'd never made it this far. Yeah, and just like her. I'm not that late, am I? Not at all, in fact, you're just in time. In time? In time for what? Given my first observation upon entering the house, I already had a good idea of what awaited me. However, even with Sarah standing before me while wearing an apron, something didn't seem right. Oh, I just killed a man! I just killed the first man of my life, just like you. In a house with few appliances and shelves stocked with cheap instant food, my sister, who had never cooked for me before, had somehow whipped up a proper meal in anticipation of my return. I couldn't ignore the fact that this house smells like real food once, but where on earth did the ingredients and utensils come from? Since Sarah and I began living on our own, we've been eating instant food every day, unable to afford anything better. With the pretty cash we had left, there's no way Sarah could have bought any of this. Ah, criminal life for you. In the saucepan we have white sauce with chunks of sun-dried tomatoes. In the pot we have fettuccine pasta. Hope you're hungry. Hungry is an understatement, but is there one thing more powerful than my stomach? It's my curiosity. Sarah, where did you get the money for all of this? And since when have you known how to cook? I go out of my way to cook your dinner, and this is how you react? Fine then, I guess I'll just have to eat it all myself. I knew I should have stopped after the first question. Oh well, forget it. Sarah probably just borrowed some things from school, or from one of her friends. Anyway, where have you been? Usually I've been home an hour ago. Come on, she's controlling my time. Something. Shit, that's right. Given the situation, I haven't even thought about what time it was. Is it worth trying to come up with an excuse now? This bizarre question. Yeah, I don't want to lie to her. Nah, better just play off. An excuse made up on the spot would just make her suspicious. Just at work, I must have lost track of time. Anyway, did I miss anything? Ha! And immediately she's happy again. Now that I mention it, something did arrive for you. Sarah removed her apron, simultaneously taking out an envelope from her pocket. Sorry, I know I shouldn't have opened it. Sarah handed me to the envelope, which she had attempted to reseal after opening. Oh, no kidding, it's my paycheck, I believe. I peered inside an envelope, and within it I found... money? Wait a minute, there has to be at least $2,000 in here. Okay, maybe that's too much of a paycheck. I spent a little on utensils and some fresh meat and vegetables. You can't eat instant noodles every day, you know. Sarah explained to me why the envelope was no longer full. As I vacantly stared at the money in my hands, she needn't have bothered. Even at the pay I was promised, I should have made less than $1,000 in total. I believe this extra money is from Marcus, just to blend me in and get me more involved in these affairs. For there to be over double that left after Sarah's expenses. This This must be Marco's doings. No shit, Sherlock. He knows I need money and that I won't be able to pay him back unless I accept his job offer. Furthermore, Marco sent the money straight to my sister, eliminating the possibility of me refusing or returning the money. Not that you already chose to, to accept his help in a way, but how did he get the money to my sister so early? Did he know ahead of time that Mudu would refuse to pay me? This is all just... What are you waiting for? Come on, get it while it's hot. And so we have a nice romantic dinner. Like a happy, not illegal doing murder family. Interrupting my agitated thoughts, Sarah took me by the hand and led me into the living room. Sitting on the table in front of the couch were placemats, paired with shiny cutlery. More goods that we didn't own mere hours ago. Further to that, 2 steaming plates entered my vision moments later as Sarah made another quick stop in the kitchen, bringing with her a heavenly scent. Of course, it's pasta. It's the best thing in the world. Come on, put down the money and eat. As intrigued as I was by the scene before me, the thought of putting down the cash-filled envelope had yet to cross my mind. After all, before I could relax and eat dinner, there was still something I needed to clear up. I will, but before that, how and when did you get this envelope? Yeah, how did you not question yourself about it? There's always not even slightly more cash than usual, but there's double amount of cash I get. So that's kind of strange, isn't it? Anyway, after killing a man, there's nothing better to eat pasta to clear your sins. Pasta is really a heavenly place. Dish. I will, but before that, how and when did you get this envelope? Did your boss tell you? The envelope was mailed here sometime today. Well, I guess that envelopes are made to be mailed, but an envelope with this much money in it, that's just careless. And extremely suspicious. No wonder she didn't notice that. I hadn't really thought about that. I just found it slip under the door before I got home. That isn't much to go on, but it does confirm my earlier suspicion. Sarah gets home hours before I do. If this money came from Marcus, he really must have known what would happen ahead of time. Damn it, feels like I'm being played by that bastard. Oh, is that so? Well, you put yourself in his hands while you have called him. Enough about that, sit down and eat already. You better not be stalling because you're afraid to eat my cooking. What? Oh, of course not. Though it's true that she never cooked for me before. Oh well, it certainly smells nice enough. Come on, no worries, man. Let's just eat. Wow, this is actually pretty good. Wow, I'm so surprised. It might be because I've been eating instant food for weeks on end, but this tastes like something I'd actually pay for. Stare. Though it might taste better if a certain someone wasn't analyzing every bit I take. Maybe some feedback will get Sarah on my back. Teaser? Okay, let's play a little bit. Whoa, this is amazing. Huh, you really think so? Absolutely. You'll make a great wife one of these days. Huh? Kids, what are you talking about? Would be a great wife? Okay, I didn't mean that kind of tease. Let's see. Don't sell yourself short, my dear sister. Any guy would be lucky to have you. Though I suppose your attitude and sense of style could use some work. You really think that? Wait, what was that? You're the last person in the world who should be lecturing me on my style. No, I meant it as a compliment. How is that a compliment? No, this is more like it. Sarah's so much fun to tease. She's really easy to wind up. Whatever the case, it really is nice to be eating real food again. What are you talking about? It's only been a couple of weeks, you know. For you, maybe, but I've gone from a month of hospital food straight to nothing but instant noodles. So, in this moment, how can anyone do a compliment and say you will be a good wife? I mean, are we back in the 50s or not even the 50s? I mean, oh, the girl have only to get pretty and know how to cook well for marriage. Well, fuck that. Come on, I mean, really? You're still with these ideas? Okay. Alright, I guess it has been for a while for you. As much as I try to sympathize with Sarah, my life hasn't been so grand lately either. After suffering a severe head injury, maybe that's why, I can understand some things now, and losing months worth of memories as a result, I received the grim news that our parents had been killed in a car crash. Worse, since the circumstances surrounding a crash were deemed suspicious, their assets were frozen, leaving Sarah and I without a dime. Okay, because they thought we had killed them. Finally, without any close relatives who we could rely on, had little choice but to quit school and find a job, assuming responsibility for Sarah's well-being. Yeah, you could also have moved to another place since this house seems pretty expensive. So now, after suffering so much hardship in such a short amount of time, being able to indulge in a peaceful home like this is a dream come true. Either way, you're right, it is nice. It feels like we have finally gotten some piece of our whole lives back. I couldn't agree with you more, except that I killed a man just a few hours ago. And with that in mind, dear sister, what will be the next step of the Tesla family restoration project? The what? If we're going to restore our lives to what they were, we need to plan out what we're going to do. What's next? A car? A bigger TV? A living maid? Like I'd let you get a living maid, you pervert. She knows me well, but you do have a point. We should have some kind of plan to manage from now on. What do we do next? There are a lot of things still missing from this house. The facilities work, and we have minor luxuries like a television and refrigerator, but it's still a far way off feeling like home. Well, you fucker, you earn money just to live and then you spend them on fucking useless bunch of stuff. It's not something we need to figure out right now. Just give it some thought. Right, I shouldn't get too excited about spending money we don't even have yet. Indeed. Besides, we should be going to bed soon anyway, so... Right, we should get a second bed. Huh? I mean, even if there's only one bedroom in this house, there's still room for another bed. That way we wouldn't need to share anymore. I'm sure many people will get the wrong idea if I said that I sleep with my sister, but there's really nothing dubious at play here. Well, you know, another bed is costly. This house only has a single bedroom. Until now, we couldn't afford a second bed. Furthermore, when I suggested that I take the couch, Sarah insisted that I needed to sleep properly for work, and I could tell that she didn't want to be left alone in a familiar house. Well, indeed, given the situation, I'd say our decision was correct. That's a waste of money. It is. But don't you want a bed of your own again? I mean, surely you're sick of... Focus on things we need, not things we want. And all of a sudden she had become like a reasonable person. Besides, it's getting late. We should think about it tomorrow. Huh, I guess my idea wasn't as bright as I thought. Maybe Sarah isn't ready to sleep alone yet after all. Okay, that's a good reason. Regardless, Sarah was right about one thing. We shouldn't get too excited about spending money we don't even have yet. I should have told Sarah where that money came from. That there might not be any future payments like it. But let the atmosphere go to my head, afraid to break the mood. For the first time since our parents died, Sarah was happy. And if tonight pans out, be satisfied with merely prolonging her happiness, even just temporarily. After taking a shower and storing my earnings, I retreated to my bedroom for a few hours of sleep. Sarah fell asleep by my side, tightly clinging to my torso, greedily stealing my body heat until I too lost consciousness. Nothing sexual involved. Unfortunately, as nice as peaceful, relaxing night in a warm bed sounds, tonight that pleasure will be short-lived. Whatever Marcus has planned, midnight is the deadline he gave me, and I'm planning on being late. It's time to go do some other strictly legal stuff. Midnight meetings and corpse handling aside, the fact of the matter is that Marcus has already compensated me for work not yet done, not to mention the promise of more to come. Whatever reservation I have about this, I can't afford not to go. At the very least, I need to hear him out and see what he has in mind. And if the job he has lined up for me is as violent and well paid as my night so far would suggest, then I will be happy, because I don't care about the other people. I just care about my own fucking wealthy stuff and having money. only for myself and my sister. Whoa, I'm such a despicable person. There are worse ways to make a living. No. Maybe, perhaps no. Maybe just a few, like being a rapier. A raper, or I don't know, in his labor. That could be worse. Eyeing the clock on the wall facing our bed, I snuck away from my sister's side, careful not to wake her. I slowly removed her arms from around me, replacing my body with a pillow I had been using until moments prior, then tiptoed out of my bedroom and through the living room, not making a sound the entire trip. Oh, these are umbrellas, I thought it was a sink. Okay, let's go. It's a shame to have to leave her side like this. Tonight, there's somewhere else I need to be. And then Batman was born. Not probably. Following the unfamiliar route. Okay, let's save. Detailed to me early in the day, I made my way to a part of town never thought I'd need to visit. Oh, so the rich guy now has to go to the poor parts. Oh my god. Among the many districts of Richmond, this is one of the poorest and definitely not a good place to be at this time of the night. There's no police presence to speak of, most of the stores are closed or abandoned, and there's absolutely zero maintenance being done. As soon as Marcus told me where we'd be meeting, I knew the job he had lined up for me couldn't be legal. Well, again, no shit Sherlock's. Just what I'm getting myself into here. Here you are. Kid! Jeez, took you long enough. I was beginning to think you'd chickened out. The moment Marcus and I met face to face, he opened with his usual level of compassion. Chickened out of what? I don't even know why I'm here. You're here because it's one of the few places in town where someone like you can actually make money. Well, in a parking lot? Do I have to steal stuff from cars? You know that that isn't what I meant. I'm in a shoddy neighborhood in the middle of the night, prepared to make money from legally questionable work, and you're still only telling me the bare minimum. You can't keep me in the dark forever, Marcus. I guess you're right. Oh, that silly rich kid. But really, relax already. It's honest work, I assure you. This part of town, this late at night? I doubt it. Alright, so what now? Just follow me, you'll understand soon enough. Marcus turned around and walked to the side entrance of the building, adjoining the car park. He removed a keyring from his pocket and unlocked a steel frame drawer, turning back for a moment to smirk as though daring me to follow him. Okay, I believe I'm going, and so I did. Following right behind Marcus, I entered the dreary building, immediately confronted by the dusty staircase within. The path before us was dark, dirty, and every bit as eerie as one would think a midnight stroll in an unsavory neighborhood might be. Despite that, the staircase appeared to be maintained, or at least not dilapidated. Moreover, albeit faint, I could definitely see light coming from below. A ring? Oh, is this a legal fight club? What awaited us at the bottom of the staircase was an arena. In the center was a boxing ring, and beyond that were grandstands, akin to those I'd usually seen in football stadiums. Despite the massive size of the venue before us, there were only a few other people present, all mulling around near the top of the grandstands. The lights remained dim, and for all intents and purposes, Marcus and I were essentially alone. So, what you think? Pretty impressive, huh? Yeah, that's one word for it. What the hell is an arena like this doing down here? I believe the word you're looking for is stadium, or ring, or place in which I will be butchered to death. Anyway, where else would it be? Events like this can take place out in the open, you know, not even in Richmond. Events like this is just a boxing ring, right? Heh, in a way. Interested in boxing? Not a fan of watching sport, but come to think about it. Just wait a little longer, another 5 minutes and this place will be open to the public. Then you can tell me if you're interested in bashing skulls for a living. Well, that's what I thought. While Marcus and I hung around the bottom of the dark stairwell, an entrance apparently reserved for staff, spectators began to storm in front between the grandstands. Yes, cheer for me, I'm the champion! Yet I never had a fight in this club yet. But I am the champion. I'm the one who will make you cry and ask for mercy, but there won't be mercy. Hundreds of, if not thousands of spectators floated in the grandstands, soon filling the arena, which had been empty only minutes ago. And so many people are wasting their sleeps for that. The grandstands were filled, the ring gained fighters, and best of all, the betting began. Holy crap, look at all that money! Just how much are those people betting? Despite being so far away from the action, I could clearly see large stacks of money changing hands. Spectators practically threw money at the staff taking bets, growing all the more excited as the fighters for the first match began warming up. Yeah, because apparently rich people doesn't have any other like hobbies or activities to do, or know that I don't know, snoring coke, breathing coke, or cocaine, or I don't know, betting on illegal stuff. Okay, figures you jump straight to that. Yes, there is that side of business, and yes, a lucky man can make himself a small fortune down there. But competing is where the real money is. There aren't any rules against betting on yourself either. So let me ask you again, are you interested? Interested in that kind of money? Absolutely. As far as competing goes, you know what? Let's jump straight to it. Marcus does have a point. If I learned how to fight professionally, then proceeded to bet on myself, I could make a lot of money. It would give also me an outlet, somewhere to vent my frustration, rather than suspecting victims like voodoo. Yeah, that's pretty much the basic principle of the Fight Club, the movie. That's why I think it's quite a realistic thing. In fact, I believe that if anyone would be invited for, you know, fighting and, you know, lose, empty all his rage that is filled his heart and mind with, I mean, that would be a blessing for him, and it will increase your thirst for blood, and so you'll be kind of addicted to that. And so if you put money in it too, well then you have a perfect drug, my friends. That's the best case scenario. Realistically, I might even land a hit on my opponent, let alone prove proficient enough to profit from a career in boxing. I could just end up broken and broke, worse off than ever. Maybe, but I'd rather find a more stable source of income. Huh, your loss. If that's how you feel, then I suggest you set your sights on the man above the grandstand to your left. Despite a poor vantage point, I did as Marcus suggested and gazed towards the grandstand to the left of the boxing ring. Above the grandstand was a glass panel, a viewing booth, with a single shadow being cast from within. Behind that bulletproof glass is the owner of this fine establishment, Mr. Karazu. Impress him and you can make a comfortable living without ever setting foot inside the ring. Now that is worth nothing. A place like this must rake it in. I'd be foolish not to try and get in something like this. Make a living? How? What kind of business does he run? Really? Forget I said anything. I just make a silly bet between friends, okay? What do you think will win this next match, Macho Man or the little Jap? With both fighters for the next match already center stage, I could clearly tell who Marcus was referring to. Before us were two men in their 30s, one in blue trunks and one in red. In blue was a Caucasian male. From my position he appeared to be at least 6 foot tall, with a shoulder wide to match his impressive stature. His opponent seemed to be a head shorter, a Japanese man with a slim build, probably a martial artist of some variety. I'm sure they're both professionals, given their presence here, but I'm asked to choose the victor. I'd say, you know, I will go with the Japanese man, because in the movies where a Japanese man fights or a Chinese man fights a European, usually the Japanese, the martial artist, take advantage. So I bet on him, the Jap. I don't want to make a bet with Marcus, but I guess it can't hurt if there are any stakes. Alright then, I guess Macho Man is mine. With our bets having been placed, neither one of us said a word as we waited for a match to begin. Even if we wanted to talk, it took enough concentration to simply observe from such a distance, let alone speak. If not for this significant difference in stature, that would have been able to tell the fighters apart. Well, let's see. The instant the bell rang, the outcome had already been decided. In a split second, the massive Caucasian swept his opponent's leg, sending him to the floor. Oh, come on, just fight more, man! He then threw his legs around the Japanese man's arm, pushing against his elbow like a lever as he threatened to snap. Ah! The Japanese man cried out in pain as his arm bent backwards at the elbow. Oh, come on. Was I supposed to lose anyway? But his screams were overpowered by the crowd, who shouted out for blood, spurring on the giant he had been pitted against. Ah, no more! I give! The man in blue paid no heed to his opponent's pleas for mercy, even as the Japanese man cried out in pain, forfeiting without hesitation. The giant continued unabated, glaring at his opponent without even a hint of sympathy. Despite how overwhelmingly one-sided the fight proved to be, the crowd continued to cheer, seemingly more interested in seeing blood than a match. And so, in response to their lust for violence, off with his arm. The Caucasian man happily carried out his job. Oh, or did he kill him? The sound of the Japanese man's arm being snapped in two was silenced by the crowd, most of whom went quiet as its echo reached their ears. Medical staff rushed into the ring, carrying the fallen fighter out post-haste, and gamblers lined up to collect their payouts, leaving the remainder of those present in shock and awe. So there are also medical staff? Well, this thing is more legal than I thought. Not all Asians practice martial arts, you know? Yeah, that's right. Racist behavior. That's what made me lose. You'd better learn to analyze your opponents a little better if you want to become a professional fighter. Marcus tried to speak out to me, but whatever he had to say, I wasn't interested. Even after the match had ended, my mind was in the ring, replaying the scene that had transpired mere moments ago. I could feel the blood drain from my face even before that decisive moment, at which point there wasn't a single hair on my body not standing on end. Marcus dragged me here with promise of money, making it sound like my worries were over. Yeah, silly boy. A legal job, one in which I could act violently and make money from doing so. Boxing fit that description, and for a moment there, I could even see myself wearing boxing gloves and trunks, duking it out with some other money-hungry athlete. But I just saw, whatever it was, that's not happening. Marcus can't possibly expect me to get in a ring like that, getting my legs broken for his sadistic boss amusement. Am I desperate? I might be desperate, but not some money is worth that. Well, too late, my friend. I guess you're already involved in the thing. And after the last of the spectators and staff members had left the stadium, only two figures lingered in the underground layer. Hidden behind thick glass, watching over the match from afar, the duo began to wind down as the night's festivities came to a close. Hi there. Phew, what a night. I can't even remember the last time I watched a fight live. Were they always this gruesome? Japanese man, the pairings are usually more balanced. There's no profit in matches with obvious outcomes after all. Usually? As in, not tonight? Do you have to ask? You specifically requested that we skew the pairings so that the different weight classes would find another one. I did? That doesn't sound like me. Well, you didn't put it quite like that. You wanted to find someone lean, fast and strong, right? Someone who could punch above their weight class. Huh, right. But this is just what? Why you're asking me? It was your idea. Oh, I see. Well, scratch that. That's to be a less costly method, right? Ha, yes, sir. I'll start spreading the word that we're recruiting, and I'll keep your criteria in mind. No. You can't pin this one on me. Oh, so you have a conscience all of a sudden. It's your criteria, say? I wouldn't have a clue for what to look for. Very well, I'll pass along my criteria, and then expand the recruitment drive to include younger fighters. Even then, it might take a while. Finding someone capable is only half of the battle. The real challenge is finding someone who's not only emotionally and mentally stable, also desperate for money. Well, here I am, your perfect lab rat. Don't you... you know, the circumstances, the coincidences. I'm already here, wanting for money, and also a bloodlust that occurs for miles away from me, and now there's a perfect job for me, and ruthless enough to kill for it. Alright, so here starts my career. And this is Sickness. The chapter 2, Saddest. So here I am. My career awaits me. And the next day, I will show you the next day in the next episode, guys. Tuesday morning, September the 6th. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you like this video. If you like me playing this kind of games, the visual novel style. I know it's kind of slow paced and but it's very interesting. I mean, it's a story that is about to unravel, and some blood will be spilled, and also broken limbs, arms. That could be fun, you know. Let me know in the comments if you like this kind of game, and also let me know if you like this particular game. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends if you enjoyed that. And you know, spread the word about my channel, if you please. That could be very fun. Also, I wish you had a very nice New Year Eve. You had fun and with your friends. You had drink much, ate much, and have fun with them. And so we will see each other again in the next video. Let me know in the comments also if you want to see the next day of this series. And remember, if you can sleep, the clowns are gonna eat thee with nice Chianti and fettuccine. I can do the sound. Good night.